Anita owns Central Coast Trains in California. And Anita, welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, listen, let me ask you some questions here and see if we can find out a little bit about you and your business.
Okay.
Your hobby shop, exactly where is it, and why'd you start it, and what do you sell there?
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Started back in September of '95 with my first husband because he was an N scaler and he was never able to get anything for N scale at the regular hobby train stores because they all catered to HO guys. So started it with specializing in special order, catering to the customer, and 26 years later, we're still doing that. We're located at 7600 El Camino Real, Suite 3 in Atascadero, California. And phone is 805-466-1391. Check out the webpage at centralcoasttrains.com. And if you need to talk to me, it's Anita@cctrains.com.
And it's interesting because when I met Anita, it brought back so many memories for me, and just talking with her about the fun that I used to have going to a hobby shop. Nowadays, I don't really have a hobby shop close to me, but I really enjoyed talking with her, and that was what started me down this path of trying to get the people that own the hobby shops to come on the show. What about your personal experience, Anita, in the hobby? Are you a model railroader? How
I actually am not, but I'm fully versed in almost every scale. You learn something new every day, whether you want to or not. And my first husband started me here with this area with Jim Fitzgerald. If anybody knows N-Track, Jim Fitzgerald used to live out in this area, and we were a part of the original North County Model Railroaders Clubs.
I'll be darned.
I can talk you through everything. I'm certified by Soundtracks as an authorized dealer and installer. And they twisted my arm and made me run the train as well. Got to go to Silverton on 2 different occasions during our training. So.
Well, I know you're heavily involved with the different clubs and the NMRA out there.
Yes.
In fact, that's how I found you, because yeah, you happened to donate the prize, and I happened to be lucky enough to win it. So,
there you go.
and I know that you're heavily involved with the organizations out there.
Yes. If not a member, I'm an honorary member of almost everything.
What do you see as your business challenges as a hobby shop owner, Anita?
Getting my customers and clients to plan their projects so I have a fighting chance to get it in the store so that it'll be ready for when they're ready for their projects. I carry a full line of everything, scales, Z through G, but I only have so much space, so I can't have everything, but I'm willing to get you anything.
Well, you talk about the model railroaders planning their projects. How can the model railroad community work with you more efficiently or effectively to make you more money and them get more service and the benefit of more products from you? How can that connection be made?
It's old school where I come from. It's a phone call, an email, a fax. You get a hold of me however you want to. I even get letters with the planned, what they want me to get and assemble, and then wait for it all to be assembled and sent out in one box. So if you're dealing with me, I'm the chief cook and bottle washer here, and I have volunteers that help me, but they're not going to be touching the computer and checking the emails and stuff like that. So if they could plan for their future to help me get things in, because I can only have so many on my wall. And when they say, hey, I want 7 of those right-hand switches, I'm not going to carry them that deeply, but I'll get them for you.
Well, and you were kind enough to get the stuff that I wanted very efficiently for me. But talk to me a little bit more about this. In other words, if I'm starting a project and I have some idea of all of the various things that I need, I can give you that, and then you'll assemble those pieces together for me.
Correct.
And once you've got them all, then you'll notify me, or you'll send them all out in one box to me.
Yeah, I will assemble it or give you an update on what's coming in. You can tell me whether you want the stuff that's here already sent now, or if you want me to wait for the whole thing to come in, and I'll give you the ETAs of when they're going to be. I do communicate that very well in emails, so if you want to talk firsthand, you give me a jingle and I'll answer the phone.
Gotcha. Another question that's important to the people that model are your Walters orders, particularly. And the modelers want to know how often can they make an individual order from you for Walters? Do you do it regularly, once a week or something like that?
I order minimally from them once a week, usually twice a week. So I like to have California time, your wants on Wednesday, on Thursday before noon, so I can push that order. And then the next order will be Saturday by close of day at 5 o'clock. So my Thursday orders come in on Wednesday and my Saturday orders come on Friday if there's not too many boxes in the system.
Gotcha.
I try to plan for when my volunteers are going to be there so that they can help me price those orders and call the customers so I can get the next batch of mail order going.
So then you notify the customer when the order comes in?
Yes.
So in other words, twice a week with your store, I can call you, place a order for Walters, and within 3 or 4 days, I should be able to get that order and pick it up at your store.
Yes, approximately a week from the day I place the orders when I get it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but if it's something's back ordered and you want to wait for the box to be complete, we can do that.
Anita, besides Walters, who else do you do that kind of thing with? The suppliers?
I make 3 distributors happy weekly. That's Horizons, because they carry the Adern and all the ones that they own, McHenry and Roundhouse, if they're exclusive because they own it. And I deal with Heartland Wholesale Hobbies. And I deal on occasion with a couple other distributors as well.
Do you do this with any what I'll consider the small manufacturers that are around the country? Because
yes.
How does that work?
A lot of them, it's a monthly order. I mean, Katie, Microtrains, Microengineering, Digitrax, all these smaller manufacturers, or direct to the manufacturer, PCS, ESU Look Sound. So I deal directly with a lot of the sound companies that are doing the DCC and sound. I mean, I deal directly with Central Valley, and it's in Oceano, right down the road from us. They do the bridges and stuff, the bridge kits and stuff. And that's Jeff at Central Valley.
That's fantastic. Well, let me ask you this. Some of the modelers are Canadians that are on the show. And shipping costs to Canada for them is a real nightmare. I mean, to hear some of the stories that they tell about buying a $40 kit and paying $50 to have it shipped to Canada is just ridiculous in my mind. What can be done to help the Canadian buyer, if anything?
I don't do a lot of Canadian sales because it's difficult to deal with shipping to them. I deal with Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Denmark. I go all over the place, but Canada is harder than all them. I don't lie on the customs forms. Because that's my reputation on the line, but I do fill it out the way it's supposed to be, and I can go, if they allow it, go first class. Sometimes up to 4 pounds, they'll let you do first class instead of priority. But I charge the exact, whatever the post office charges, that's what I charge the customer. I take care of the boxes, the tapes, the labels, everything like that. But whatever the post office charges me, that's what I charge the customer. I'm not making any money on the postage.
Gotcha. What in your store, do you do hands-on clinics at all? I mean, do you have that kind of capability?
Every single day when someone walks in and asks a question, they're getting one-on-one hands-on clinics.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
We teach you until you're ready to say, I'm full, I'll come back later.
The modelers said to me, we want a hobby shop to stock the basics. We don't expect them to have everything in the world that we want. There's just no way that they can possibly do that. But what we need the hobby shop to do is take care of the basics for us. Does that make sense to you?
Oh gosh, I do. In say HO to begin with, I'm going to carry the Atlas and the Lifelike, the Bachman, and the Pico in the code 100. In the code 83, I'm going to have your Atlas. I'm going to have your microengineering because that's the best anyway. Pico, code 83, and whenever Walters gets their 83 back in stock, I'll have that as well. I've got that back ordered for when they do it. I've got paints, 3 different kinds. Pretty much everything Woodland Scenics has for scenery I have, but I also have knock and bush and pre-size and other standard scenery things. Mm-hmm. I deal with Bragdon, Joel and Jenny Bragdon. They do all of the rock molds and weathering chalks and all that stuff. I usually order about 30 at a time, but I wait for a customer to order one that I don't have so that I'll make my customers happy and fill my shelves at the same time.
Right.
Same thing with Micromark. They have atrocious shipping. So I usually wait for my customers to help me get me a minimum order, and then I fill my waffles as well. But I bring that in. You'll have to pay what Micromark's charging, but I'm eating the shipping for that one. Other than sending it to you, and then it's just actual weight shipping. It's not this gigantic amount that they come up with.
Anita, there's so many small manufacturers in the model railroad industry today. People that are making 3D parts, people that are doing kits because they like the particular building or they like the particular station and so forth. What about the hobby shops? What can they do? How can they work with those small manufacturers?
I deal with a lot of the smaller manufacturers. If a customer asks me to, I will go approach that manufacturer and ask if I can be a dealer if they want a representation out in California where I am. And I haven't had too many of them tell me no.
Okay.
So,
but from your standpoint, you're kind of customer driven. If the customer likes the manufacturer and wants you to be able to represent the manufacturer, then you approach the manufacturer.
Correct. It's not a want until someone tells me to get out there.
Gotcha. What about if a manufacturer calls you and says, hey, how about representing me?
I've done that. I mean, Tangent, just getting out there, Owl Mountain Models, I've got his stuff out there. There's just so many small manufacturers that I've actually bought it straight off the manufacturer at shows. I restock up. TAM Industries that makes the display cases. I deal with Trent. So I have a list longer than my arm on doing just that. I'd say almost every single manufacturer started in the garage of a modeler who wanted something and couldn't find it. So they started creating it. And then people saw it and said, I want that too.
I agree with you. That's exactly what happened. So Anita, what are your future plans? You've been in this 26 years. You're successful. You're model trains only. You don't
Yes.
handle airplanes and all the rest of it. So obviously you're very focused, which is really rare, in my opinion, around the country. So what are your future plans now?
I'm unique in that way, but I have a lot of customers that dabble in all different things, but I have full line distributors that I will bring them in there all their wants without carrying it in my store. So I can get other things besides. I can get the RC and the different models for those customers. My plan is to not retire for a while. I guess I'll just tell it like it is. I will be 60 this year, but I don't feel that age. I don't plan on quitting. I don't know if I have another 25 or 26 years in me, but I enjoy what I'm doing. I like 95% of my customers. I've got a few of them that don't come in happy. Who wouldn't be happy playing trains? Come on. But I have lost 2 husbands through all this, and I'm just getting back into starting to feel myself again and get back into my customer service aspect that I do, I think, very well.
Well, I understand that your husband that just died recently was really a fantastic model railroader, and
He's probably in the top 10% of WP layouts here in the United States. So he's done the entire Western Pacific through Portola, all the way through to Quincy and the Red River Lumber, and a full working Ketty Y and Koga, the whole entire thing. It's in a building that is 25 or 35 by 50. And he's got 15 scale miles of track, 97 switches, and it's a masterpiece.
I understand that you're thinking about maybe turning it into a museum.
We're talking some nonprofits and some different museums locally that might take it on to keep it active. I know Carl's friends are coming out even on the 14th. They're going to come out and they're going to run the track feeding cars and move some things around just to get it to make sure it keeps on running.
Well, that's one I wish you the best of luck with it.
Yep, thank you.